Hey guys, I'm here to talk with you about the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. I have finished it and I'm in love. These books just made my October the best October it could have been. Oh my gosh. I am going to go on a limb and say that this is seriously, after the Mortal Instruments, this is the best series I have ever read in my entire life. It surpasses Harry Potter for me. And the reason why I can say that it did is because I connected with Percy and fell in love with Percy, which is disgusting because he's like 12. But I fell in love with Percy because he's just such an interesting character. And I love his relationship with everybody that he interacts with. I love him and Annabeth. I love it. I just thought it was the most entertaining, the most adorable relationship. I enjoyed his relationship with his father, Poseidon. I enjoyed the relationship with Chiron, his mentor and teacher. I even enjoyed his relationship with Mr. D, even though Mr. D kept calling him all kinds of names up the yin yang. What is the final name that he called him that made me crack up? I can't even remember. He calls him like Peterson or something like that. Like every single time Mr. D came into contact with Percy, he would always say Peterson or Jefferson or something stupid. Oh, it was just so funny. And so I just enjoyed that relationship. I really did. It was just hilarious to me. Favorite characters in this series. Percy, definitely. Poseidon. I really liked Poseidon. I really liked Hermes. Hermes was an excellent character. And I really enjoyed Hades. I loved Hades. Like, I don't even know how to explain how much I loved Hades. Hades may be like a scary kind of bad guy, but he's not really bad. He's just scorned by his family, and which is why he's in the underworld. And I'm always the type of person that likes to root for the underdog, which is the very reason why Draco Malfoy is my favorite character in the Harry Potter series. But I just enjoy Hades. Like, Hades is so creepy. But I guess the reason why I enjoy Hades so much is I don't envision the Hades from the Percy Jackson movies. I envision Hades from Hercules, the Disney Hercules with the blue hair that blows out, you know. That, I love that. But, okay. This series from start to finish had so much action and so much information and so much world building. Like, Rick Riordan, how the hell did you weave this world into this thing of amazingness? I don't even understand how you kept all of your facts straight and all your ducks in a row. Like, there were so many kids. All them gods and goddesses was having so much sex with mortals and stuff that they had all these kids. And this is a children's book, by the way. Having all of these kids? Like, what? Children's book? I wish I had this as a children's book, and there's hair floating in my eye, and it's not cool. But anyway, they had all these kids. Okay, there was this like big treaty promise deal. Eyelash. There we go. There was like this big treaty promise deal between the big three. And the big three was Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon. The three of them were like, look, we can't be having sex with all these mortals and stuff because we can't be having all these demigod kids running around. It causes way too much trouble for us. And so Zeus broke the promise when he had Talia, and Poseidon broke the promise when he had Percy. And then, as it turns out, I don't think Hades broke the promise, but there is a hair in my eye and it's annoying me. But I don't, because there's a weird story. He has kids. He has Bianca and Nico, but they're a special circumstance because they got trapped in that hotel in the desert in, I think, Arizona or Vegas or something like that for like ever. And so I think Hades had them before the treaty was even set in place, so that doesn't count. Out of all of the books, my favorite book that had the most emotional draw for me was The Battle of the Labyrinth. This is book 4 in the series. And this is the series, or this is the book that I really connected to the most. I was so involved in this story, like a labyrinth underneath, you know, everything that connects everything. Like you can go one way and end up in Los Angeles, and then go another way and end up in Colorado, and go this way and end up in New York. And in the labyrinth, like you could die in there, or you could go crazy like Chris did. Chris Rodriguez, who was, I guess, Clarice's like boo thing. And it's where, I think it was Daedalus or whatever, that was his labyrinth. I think he created it. Yeah, it's a lot, and I can't recall it all. Let me just tell you that these are my favorite books of the series. The Battle of the Labyrinth and The Last Olympian. So much stuff. The Last Olympian is, of course, the biggest book of the series with, I think, 381 pages. And this one was like 320 or something. But anyway, there was just so much happening. And so basically the entire series is about Percy Jackson, who discovers that he's a demigod, his father is Poseidon, and his father decides to claim him. And there's this prophecy that's going around, prophecy that says the demigod, or the hero that lives up to his 16th birthday, is going to have some big decision to make, blah, 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 blah. And so far, none of the demigod children have lived up to their 16th birthday. And then we find out, boom, here are some kids. There's Talia, and then there's Percy, and then there is Luke, and then there was, I think that was it. But anyway, so Percy is introduced into this world, so he has to learn all of this stuff and try and figure out what all of this means while trying to not die, you know, before 16. And so he finds out that he's, you know, this really powerful demigod. He's really, really powerful, especially now that Poseidon has claimed him. And then he meets along the way all of these different things, from minotaurs to centaurs to all the tars to other demigods. He makes enemies, he makes friends, he meets titans, and he slays all kinds of monsters and monsters and everything. And all this time, what was happening is in the back, there's like some little big revolution that's happening with titans. Now, the titans have been kept away for like eons and eons and many, 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 many years. They lost the battle a long time ago, and the gods who live up in Olympus, you know, pretty much have that handled. And then what happens is that their pieces are spread so far apart, but if they find a way to come together again, and if they find a host to host the body while they heal, to host them while they heal and are able to get their strength to come together again, then they can come back and fight and possibly win and take over Olympus, or destroy Olympus and the world. So that's what was happening. There is this titan named Kronos, and Kronos means time. So you know that's what he controls. Kronos is actually the father of Zeus and Hades and Poseidon and Chiron and all these different gods. So Kronos is Big Daddy. Big Daddy is coming back to wreak havoc on Olympus. So that's what's happening. So Big Daddy needs to find a host to take over so he can heal and get all pumped up and ironed up and come out and bow and, you know, get on Olympus and teach all his children, look, I'm Big Daddy, so this is how this is gonna run. We want things to run this way. And so he calls all of his little Titan home dogs, such as Typhon or Typhoon or whatever you want to call it, and then he starts to recruit all of the demigods and all of the minor gods and all of the gods that feel like the big daddies, the big kahunas up in Olympus, like Zeus and Poseidon and Hades and Hermes and all those people, and Dionysus, whatever, Mr. D, and all these other gods and goddesses that think they're too good, that they don't care about all their little demigod children they created when they was out here having sex with all the mortals. This is not a review for children. Sorry. And back to what I was saying. Kronos fed on the demigods and the minor gods insecurities. Fed on the fact that they didn't have the same amount of power and the same amount of respect that the big Olympians up in Olympus did. And it worked. That's how Kronos got Zeus. That's how he got Ethan. That's how he got Prometheus. No, he got Prometheus because Prometheus was like, I'm going to look at both sides. And it looks like Kronos' side has more people. And Kronos' side is going to win. So I'm going to go over there. So Prometheus was basically a coward. And that's how Kronos got all these different gods and monsters to side with him because he fed on their insecurity. And so Percy was fighting not only Kronos, he was fighting all of the other gods and monsters that Kronos had recruited. But of those that I mentioned, Percy, Talia, Luke, am I missing somebody? And maybe somebody else. Only one of them was going to be the reason for Kronos' downfall. And in order to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to say who. Just know that Kronos was a badass. And I enjoyed watching his rise. As to what happened in The Last Olympian, I am not going to talk about that because this will spoil everything. Just know that it ends in a way that is very satisfactory. There is a second series called The Heroes of Olympus, which kind of picks up at the end of this because there's something at the end of this book, The Last Olympian, that opens up the door for the next book, The Lost Heroes, which is the first book in the Heroes of Olympus, to start. So this is not the end, but this is the end of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. So I am just so happy and so excited to read that series. But this series was everything. It was amazing. It was so good. The Percy and Annabeth moments were so adorable and gave me all the feels and all the everything, and I just could not handle how amazing the story is. There were times when I was reading these books and I just had to stop and put the book down and just say, screw you, Rick Riordan, for being so freaking genius. Like, say what now? This was such a great series, you guys. Like I said, I want to talk about it more. There are so many things I want to say, but I don't want to spoil anything for you if you have not read it. They're fast reads. I got done with these in like less than 2 weeks. They are amazing. That's my review. That's all I can talk about. I don't know if this even made sense, and I apologize if it didn't, but I am in love with the series, and I'm so happy that I was able to read it. I'm kind of bummed that I'll never have a first experience of reading these books again, but yeah. So that's all I have to say about Percy Jackson the Olympians. That is my review. It was amazing. I don't even know. I'm still reeling, and I don't even know if anything I said makes sense. I don't have linear thoughts. I don't think in a line. I think in spiral, and that's what just happened with my brain. Just I hope you enjoyed it. Watching me spaz out. Read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, you guys. You won't regret it. It's amazing. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you did. Don't mind my crazy. I'm crazy all the time. Subscribe for more videos from me. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye now. Bailey is pissed off at me because he's hungry. So, bye guys.